Hi. I've been pleasantly waiting for you all. And I forgot to hit go live. I've been literally sitting here waiting patiently, just wondering, is anybody going to come talk to me today? Has anybody got anything they want to ask me? Are we going to talk? And then as I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh, I didn't hit go live. And it could explain why nothing's happening on the screen. It's been one of them days. Okay. The beauty is I have the time to go live because I got done with my tires earlier than I expected. So that it opened up time until my next coaching call. So hello. How is everyone on this fine, fabulous Friday? Huh? How are we doing today? Are we all doing well? Are we all choosing new selves? New version of selves? Got my Christmas pillows out already? I'm ready. Okay, I'm ready. I'm so ready. I love Christmas. I love Halloween just as much as I love Christmas, but November 1st, I'm done. I'm done with Halloween and I'm ready for Christmas. You know what I'm saying? All right. How is everyone? You too, Helen? That's what I'm talking about. All right. Manifesting Maven. Thank you very much. Hi, Kim. Got movement and then started not trusting that it was me and it seemingly went back. I'm trying to manifest by a particular date and I find I'm bracing for impact. Any advice? Yes. Now, I have said this before and I'll say it again, that manifesting on a time crunch or manifesting by a specific date is absolutely possible. Absolutely it is, right? You've got the power of the I am standing with you as you are choosing to be the version of self that manifests by that particular date. However, they are not my favorite. That's my own limited opinion. They're not my favorite because they add an extra layer of anxiety and pressure and, yes, bracing for impact. So I don't love them. I don't love them because of that. So you need to ask yourself, who are you really being? Are you putting like the whole of like all of manifestation on like hinged on this one manifestation? And in other words, are you like, oh my God, if this doesn't manifest, how am I going to believe? This is why I don't love these manifestations, these types. So you need to sincerely stand in your decision. When you're choosing to manifest by a date, right? The way I see it, and this is just my opinion, okay? You don't have time for wavering. You ain't got time. You got to stand in your decision, right? Now, manifesting by a specific date and manifesting time crunch, like I said, I cannot make this more clear. They are very real. It is very absolutely possible because you already do have what you're manifesting because creation's finished. It's just we let the logical side of us, we get sucked into it and we start putting our faith into the 3D. That's the only thing with those type of manifestations. So if you could just stand in your decision that you are the self that has whatever it is that you're manifesting and stand in it. And as far as you getting movement and, trusting, not trusting, I get it. I think everyone experiences doubtful thoughts. Everyone does. But don't beat yourself up because, okay, it went back to shit. So you get back up on your shit. You get back up on deciding who you want to be and standing firm. Brazen impudence. You received your own little, hold on a minute. I am fixing my nail and I can't ignore it and pretend I can focus when all I can see is the chipped nail. Okay? Sorry. I didn't even do a good job. Just got to change the color. All right. I get distracted by chipped nails. If it was something like along the lines of manifesting a specific person and they were coming in all hot and loving life and giving you tons of movement and now they're showing up cold again, decide who you are. Stand in your decision. That's honestly the answer to everything manifestation-wise. Stand. Stand in the decision of who you are. You're so powerful. Your thoughts, your decisions. Seriously, from moment to moment, you're choosing to be a version of yourself. We're not always in the awareness that that's what we're doing moment by moment, right? We're just living life and functioning and thoughts are flying by. And we forget that, no, every moment you're having an inner dialogue. Every moment you are. Listening to me, processing what I'm saying. You're having your own inner dialogue. Maybe agreeing or disagreeing with something I'm saying. You're having an inner dialogue. You're choosing who you are. So instead of looking at it as, okay, the movement kind of is slipping backwards, we don't have to like what we're experiencing in the 3D. We just need to decide who we want to be. That's the only thing required of us, is making a decision. Thank you, Hawkeyes. I've seen you've put up that comment more than once. I appreciate you. Yeah, hook a bitch up with a like, could ya? Could you be my friend? Give me a like. I really think the beating up on ourselves for when the 3D doesn't look the way we want it to is foolishness. It's wasted time. We don't need to be hard on ourselves because something shite manifested or what we were seeing as movement appears to be not so much right now. It will be. Return to your decision. Simple as that. And like I said, if you're manifesting by a specific date and you find yourself bracing for impact, no, that's old self. That's old self. You're choosing to be the version of yourself that has whatever it is you're manifesting. Stand in it with brazen impudence because you have the power of God/the universe standing in agreement with you. Okay? Think about it, guys. Let me just say this. Anytime you're feeling like shit, anytime a thought is coming in that feels like shit, most of the time, more like all of the time, those moments are because you're thinking something literal and logical, or you are interpreting your 3D in a literal, logical way. And that's why. That's why it feels like shit. When a thought comes in and makes you feel like shit, do you know why? I know why. Because you're forgetting that thoughts are just little vehicles to other realities. Or if it's a logical thought, you're allowing it to tell you who you are. But why? Why, if what you decide is backed by the power of the universe, why be afraid of thoughts? Why be afraid of circumstances in the 3D? If we know, okay, we only manifested whatever it is, we only manifested that due to previous shitty beliefs from a previous version of self, so we know it's going to leave. We know it's not permanent. We know it can't stay. Nothing to be afraid of. Do you see what I mean? There's nothing ever really to be afraid of. But that bloody, logical, literal, linear thinking does us in every single time. So choose and stand with brazen impudence. Helen, beautiful bestie. Thank you very much. Bestie, I was thinking how we should all think like Mrs. J.E. Yes. She had no way of, this is beautiful, but you know what? I've got to put an eye drop in, okay? Or this eye is going to be the whole live stream. I'm sorry if it's gross. Could you see me doing it? Hold on. I'll try to hide so you can't. All right, hold on. As my eyes adjust. I need to get the focus off my eyeballs. Okay, back to Helen. Oh, that's so much better. Such relief. Okay. Bestie, I was thinking how we should all think like Mrs. J.E. She had no way of contacting her SP, but she persisted by revising her day every day, and she got her man. Damn right she did. That's why it's my favorite Neville Goddard success story. One of my fave success stories. I'm not surprised that it's your fave too, Helen, because you and I, besties, just saying. I think that is fabulous advice. Fabulous. And your eyes are so moist. Why do I hate that word moist? Ugh, it just gives me yucky feelings. Do all of you, is there anybody out there who doesn't know the Mrs. J.E. success story? I love it for multiple reasons. I love it because I can be snarky. I can be a little sassy. And I'm so, is that like so shocking? I love it because I think if you can all remember when Neville Goddard was here on this planet Earth with us, the timing of when he was sharing his message about manifestation. You don't know it. Oh, Bree, sit down, get comfy. I'm not going to read it. I'm going to summarize. But it is. Annie K doesn't know it either. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I love that some of you don't know it. This is so much fun. I'm so glad I can share it. First of all, Annie K and Bree, are either one of you, are you manifesting your specific person? Just out of, I'm just dying to know. I'm sorry, Thessalonine Freyheit. I'm doing it this way because it makes it easier to clip them later on for me. So, sorry. We're stuck with the ugly sidelines. All right. Oh, you guys both are. Love it. Okay. So, all right. So I told you I love it. Miss Ray doesn't know it either. Oh, God. Samantha doesn't know it either. This is going to be the best day ever. All right. So, first of all, bear in mind when Neville Goddard was delivering his message, right? His beliefs, and he was sharing it, and he was doing, all his talks. He did his radio show, he did the TV show, he did his lectures, he wrote his books. He's sharing this message, but think about when it was. Those were real, different times. I'm so glad I wasn't alive during those times. If he would have came out, in my opinion, and said, you can manifest a specific person, I think it would have looked like, he's crazy. He would have been so judged. That's my opinion. But I do believe that Neville Goddard believed that you could manifest a specific person. And that's the reason I love that success story, because I do believe with all my heart that he deliberately put that success story in his book to get that message out without having to say it specifically. I don't think that was a coincidence. I think it was done on purpose. I do. So, however, you would have thought by the year 2023, we had progressed to the place of being comfortable with the acceptance that we can manifest a person, but we still have some peeps. That's because I have a belief that there's always going to be at least one asshole or one fun sucker. We have some people who just aren't in the agreement that we can do this, so they will have evidence of it for themselves in their reality. But the Mrs. J.E. success story is, oh my God, it's so good. So again, here I am. I'm gonna retell it. I am summarizing, and I might get like a month off or something. So Mrs. J.E. is someone that had gone to one of Neville Goddard's lectures, and she happened to go to the lecture where he was discussing revision. And if you didn't know, Neville Goddard himself said that if there was only one thing that he could teach to get you to open up your mind and get your desires, it would be revision. And he discussed it in this lecture, and she had gone out on a blind date, and they hit it off, but things happened, and you know, this is in the, I think the 50s or 60s, okay? It could have been, no, it was in the 50s or 60s. And they did not exchange numbers, and she had to move. She was relocated, so they were not able to connect again, but she really digged this dude. So she had to move because of her job, and she goes to a Neville Goddard lecture, learns about revision, and as suggested by Neville in the lecture, you know, everyone should revise their day before they fall asleep at night. This is a suggestion. This is not, you have to do it or you're not going to get your manifestation. It's not my message, but it is a great tip. We'll talk about that in a second. So she decided to listen to Neville's ass, okay? So this was, I believe, the month of September. She started revising her day every single day before she fell asleep. So her real, well, I should carefully word this. Her 3D at the moment was she was living with other female roommates, okay? She was living a single lifestyle, but she would revise her day. She would get into her imagination, which is the true reality, okay? She would revise that she was sleeping in the marital home, the marital bed, like her hubby was sleeping in bed with her, the dude that she went on that blind date with and had no way to contact. And as she was doing it, she would twist an imaginary ring on her, what is this, right? Left finger, the married finger. So she would twist this ring. Okay, so she revised the day as being a married woman with that specific person. Okay, she did it every day for the entire month of September. By October, that dude had found her. They reconnected. They were engaged by, I think, December, but if not, then it was January. And they were married by the following May. So in less than a year, okay, in less than a year, she went from no contact to reconnection, to being engaged, to being married. Are you hearing me? Under 12 months this happened, okay? And all she did was revise her day before she fell asleep. And that is one of Neville Goddard's, like I said, his thing is, if I could teach nobody I can't even talk. If I could only teach one thing, it would be the revision. And I believe he specifically said the revising your day before you fall asleep. And let's discuss why. Because listen. Why fall asleep if you had a shit day? So let's say that you're manifesting a specific person, and let's say you had a date with them and they are still showing up, not interested in a long-term relationship with you. Revise that before you fell asleep. So let's say your date said it to your face at dinner that night on your date. So before you fall asleep, you would revise that to they said exactly what you wanted. Or be full-blown like Mrs. J.E. and revise, oh, no, we didn't have a date. He's laying right next to me. We are married. This is the marital home. Just like Mrs. J.E. did. It worked for her. Why can't it work for you? After you kick him under the table, revise. I thought about revising my day every night just the other day, and I'm definitely going to try that now. Yes! Well, Tara D, happy Friday from New York, USA. Okay? Nova Scotia. Love that. Revise. Revise. We shouldn't fall asleep on anything. We should change everything to being fully satisfied. If somebody's a douchebag at work, oh, not anymore, they're not. We're going to revise their ass right on out of that office. Or we can revise them to be nicer people and that they do whatever we ask them to. Utilize it. You have the power of the universe, of God, in your imagination, which technically is your true reality. Revise. We should all be walking around with our fucking crowns on, with our heads in the air, knowing who the hell we are. We should be sad and depressed over nothing. If with just a little persistence in the decision to be the self that has whatever it is you want, that's really all you have to do to experience your dreams. But because it sounds too good to be true, or because you're judging the 3D, we start doubting it. And that's one of the biggest, dumbest things every single one of us does at least once on our journey. We look at the 3D and we judge it. We make a decision that something's showing up that we don't like, so this must mean that something's not working. Or I need to fix something I'm doing. I must be doing something wrong. No. No. Somehow, some way, it's still just a part of your unfolding. Make that decision instead. Because you deciding that, it becomes that. Because it was already. But because the 3D has to validate who you're being, it's going to look how you think you are. Do you see what I'm saying? We are so powerful. Yet we still allow doubt and fear to hold us. Not anymore. Not after today. Okay? Not after today. We're not doing that anymore. We're not giving in to circumstances anymore. We're not taking anyone's shit anymore. We're not accepting answers that we don't like. We're going to walk around like we own this shit because we do. Each one of us is the boss of our own reality. We should not be stressed out and worried. We should just be claiming what we want and knowing it belongs to us. You know what I'm saying? All right, back over here. That was an excellent suggestion, Helen. Whoops, what happened? There we go. Catherine, thank you very much. Can you talk more about how you manifested money? Well, sure I can. Catherine, my first money manifestation was a lump sum, and I sucked at that. I sucked because I could not get myself to stop thinking about the how. So I ended up giving up on that manifestation, and then it showed up 2 weeks later. And I share that story because I want people to understand that it didn't show up 2 weeks later because I gave up. It showed up 2 weeks later because when I gave up, I dropped all my resistance. I stopped giving a fuck about the how. But because of who I was at that time, which was a big old victim state person, I couldn't understand that. I was not changing self. I was never changing self. So obviously this was a manifestation in the very early days. I was a baby manifester. And, all I did was script about the money. I would script in past tense as if I already had the money. But I like to keep everything 100 on my channel. I gave up on that like a big old baby. And then it fucking manifested. And of course, when I manifested, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so good at this. Oh my God. But that's the truth. But any money since then, I learned a nice hard lesson from that manifestation to stop concerning myself with the how. And, you know, not concerning myself with if what I'm manifesting, the money side, I mean, the dollar amount, if what I'm manifesting seems so far away from who I am, I can safely let that go now because I proved it with that particular manifestation because there was no reason for that dollar amount to show up in my life at all. Manifesting money really is no different than manifesting anything else. There are not like different ways to manifest different things. Manifestation is the same across the board. You see what I'm saying? So how you would manifest love is exactly how you would manifest money. You are becoming the version of yourself that has the money or has whatever it is you are particularly manifesting. So let's say you're doing a lump sum. You're deciding to be the version of yourself that has that lump sum in their bank account. Or, you know, ideas to get you into, like, as in embodying, if helping you feel like you are that new self. Imagine all the ways you're going to spend that money. Maybe you're going to make a list of you're paying off all your credit cards, or you're going out and buying a luxury handbag. You must be like me then. You see what I'm saying? Ask yourself, what would I do if I had it? What would I do with it? And allow yourself to get into your imagination and imagine, you know, writing the check to pay off the credit cards, or, you know, doing it on your phone app, or shopping at, you know, whatever you're into. Imagine yourself. The answer is always up here. Always. To every question. Decide to be yourself. Get into your imagination. But that's honestly all there really is to it. And, you know, what will probably start happening, because this is what happened for me, but granted, not everybody's journey is always going to look the same. Smaller dollar amounts kept showing up in my reality. Now, because I was such a fucking victim back then, that when those dollar amounts, like, let me give you an example. So, like, you know, I manifest, you know, $100 here, $1,000 here, $1,200 here, $2,000 here, $200, $20, $10. Random chunks of money started coming to me from all over the place. And again, I was such a victim back then that when those little pieces of money would come in, like the $2,000, the $1,200, do you think I was excited for those things? No. I was irritated because it wasn't my manifestation. I couldn't see it for what it was, which was a hello BBL to the dollar amount that I'm manifesting. I couldn't see it from there. I was in such a victim state. But I was multi-manifesting, because I was manifesting SP and money and weight loss at the same time, but all from my victim state. So take that learning lesson from me. Don't worry about the how. It doesn't matter what dollar amount you're asking for or, you know, manifesting. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're nowhere near that dollar amount either. Okay? Like, so for example, let's just pretend for this conversation that you make minimum wage somewhere. Pretend. And you're manifesting $1 million. So maybe that when you're either scripting or, you know, visualizing or affirming that you are the self that has the $1 million, maybe it feels really resistive and very far away from you. Like, you just can't comprehend how you could ever have that money. And, you know, the fear of, I don't want anything bad to happen to anybody, all of that. You know, you can be any version of yourself that you want to be at any given moment. So then don't go to that wish fulfilled if it feels too far away, too resistive. Go to the next door state. The version of you, you know, are like, all right. I should have said this. If you're manifesting $1 million and it feels too far away from you and you're constantly in resistance, manifest a smaller dollar amount temporarily, kind of like we're manifesting in steps. And that when you get to that dollar amount, as you get to that state, your perception's going to change. Not only that, when you manifest that lower dollar amount, you're going to see, holy shit, it's me doing this. I can believe that I can be a millionaire. Now let's go to that end. It's really no different than manifesting in steps, honestly. And from my perception, that's not messing with the middle. You're just going up the steps as you're dropping resistance. But again, that's not a requirement. That's just an idea to help you get around what you're perceiving as resistance. Okay? Desiree Ann, thank you very much. How to detach and feel safe trusting the unseen. Side question. How long after does Hot Seat get posted on YouTube? Need to put your response on repeat. Well, Desiree, I normally put it up sometime around the following week. So like last week's session will go live sometime today or tonight. And sometimes I have forgotten and not made it live until Sunday. It's already uploaded to YouTube. It's just, it's unlisted right now. So they're usually, it's a week behind. But I'm not going to make any promises, but if I can remember, I could try to get it up a little bit sooner for you, Desiree. But I'm not making promises, all right? Because I might forget. Just keeping it real. So, side question. Oh, okay. How to detach and feel safe trusting the unseen. Well, I'm kind of remembering some of our conversation today, and you already have evidence that manifestation works. You've done it. You've manifested in this scenario before, and I'm referring to what we talked about in group. So detachment is easy with practice. And with practice, I just mean, listen, sometimes it can feel like an hour by hour practice, depending how badly that you are responding and reacting to your 3D. Meaning, let's say, for example, you're someone who has the habit of wanting to check their social media, and then when you check their social media, you're triggered as hell over what you've seen on social media. These are habits that need to go as we are deciding to be new self. Otherwise, what the fuck are you doing? You're not being new self. You're really married to old self, right? So my suggestion is, let's get through an hour. Let's get through 1 hour of you not allowing yourself to check the 3D, right? If you can make it through the hour, if at the hour mark you really want to go check, you can, but you got to get through the hour. And then the hope, the intention is that when you reach that hour threshold, you can make it for another hour, and then another hour, and then another hour, until you can get through a 24-hour period of not checking shit in 3D, right? It's kind of like that mentality. And, you know, having the fallback of remembering your other manifestations, remembering other moments that you completely were in the awareness that you consciously manifested something. It's having those things in your awareness, they help. They help. They make it easier to detach from whatever's going on in the 3D. Because manifestation is real. It's so real. And I know it's hard to believe and trust in that just from somebody on YouTube. I totally understand that. That is exactly who I was when I started my journey. There was no law of assumption channels when I first started, but I understand. But I found that the more you remind yourself of the who you are, as in your I amness, your being God in human form, reminding yourself of that and really letting that sink in. You know, the more connection you have to your inner self, honestly, the easier things get, because the more convinced, the more trust you have, and just the idea of manifestation, right? Not even thinking about what you're manifesting, just the knowing that you can manifest and that it is real, just having that is enough to help you get through to detach. Because that's what I relied on to start my little detachment journey, is I relied on that. I knew manifestation was real. I knew it was. I'd had enough evidence through my own experiences that it's real. I would have doubts that maybe I'm not going to be strong enough to manifest A, B, and C. Maybe I'm not going to be able to. I believe other people can manifest. I just don't know if I can. That was me. All right, well, you know manifestation's real. So now let's go to the state where, you comfortably trust that manifestation's real. Let's go to that version of self so our perception can change. See what I'm saying? We have all the tools we need at every given second. And by tools, I mean the law, not the law, sorry. You all right? You all right? Just growling something serious. The art, I was about to say the law of detachment, but that's not a thing. The art of detachment. We got that. We've got the ability to go to any state we want to, any version of ourselves at any given moment. So when we find ourselves struggling, well, then let's go to the state where we feel calm. We're the version of ourselves who's feeling calm and centered, right? And we can shift through these states. Our perception changes, and therefore we can keep rising in consciousness, which is what we want. That's the goal. So how to detach and feel safe trusting the unseen. It is remembering your own experiences from previous manifestations. If you can't remember any of those, it's then getting in the awareness of who you really are. And it's a daily practice of this detachment. Detachment just means we're not going to let the 3D tell us who we are. We're not going to allow an outside circumstance or condition to control us or to tell us that we can't have what we want. That's all detachment really is. And it's like I said, if we're really feeling resistive to it, then let's get through an hour and then another hour and then another hour. Okay? Limitless Queen, Batch, thank you very much. Kim, tip if I feel SP is pressuring me for, I ain't gonna say the word just in case YouTube, we'll say sexy, and cancels plans with me if we can't have sexy. Super annoying, want this pattern to stop. Okay. I'm wondering if you're bracing for impact when SP is contacting you. So first and foremost, we want to start identifying as the version of ourselves that finds it easy to let stories go. Lets attachments and stories go. So put the focus on being that version of yourself until you feel you're there, or you feel your perception change. And this ties right into what I was just saying, that number one, I think and I hope you comfortably know that we never have to do anything we do not want to with SPs. So there is nothing wrong with boundary setting. And I think you're a sassy queen, so I'm pretty sure you have no problem setting a boundary. Because we are worthy and deserving of the best fucking treatment from anyone we're intermingling with, right? So I would put the focus on being the version of self that can let stories go. Because bracing for impact is only because we have a story. Whenever we're bracing and whatever we're bracing for, it's because there's a story. There's an attachment story. So if we can let stories go, then we have no reason to brace for impact. We won't need to. It'll snowball. That's what I would do. I set a boundary. Look at me being right about you being okay with setting a boundary. I knew that. Okay. I set a boundary from the old, wait. I read the wrong one. Hold on. I set a boundary about this and he got mad at me. Who cares that he got mad? Too bad for him. And he will get over it. Let me ask you, when he got mad at you, when you got that response from him, did you get scared that that was going to, result in you losing him or him like never talking to you again? Did that kind of a fearful thought come up? Because that's not going to happen. Even if he is like a baby and hasn't contacted you from that moment, oh, he will. No? Good. He got mad at you because you put a damn boundary up. Too damn bad. As you keep choosing to be new self, and new self doesn't hang on to stories and doesn't have any limited beliefs around love, relationships, and him, he's going to get over it. And he's going to be okay. And he's not going to do that to you anymore. It's not going to be, the you two intermingling isn't always going to have to be for sexy. He'll start showing up like, the way you prefer. So put the focus there. Being that version of self. The version of self that lets stories go. Old stories. So we can get rid of the bracing. Hands down, this is, where'd it go? Hands down, this is one of the best lives today. The questions are on God damn it, this thing, hold on. The questions are on point and the answers are on fire. Thank you so much. Love it. And also, Limitless Queen batch. The new version of self that you're choosing to be, she doesn't have patterns. She doesn't have cycles. She's never been in a pattern. She's never had that experience, right? That's new self. So if you're focusing on being new self, when it comes into your mind, you stand in that comfort that I'm becoming the version of me that doesn't have stories, doesn't have patterns, never had the original experience that created stories, right? It's new self. New self is limitless, right? Just saying. Priya's Runway, thank you very much. Hey, Kim, could you give me advice on revision? I want it so SP never cheated and we never broke up. Been trying to revise this for 6 months. Okay. Well, first of all, all right, hold up. Let's go back to the moment where you discovered SP cheated. The moment you found out is the moment I would suggest revising. And you can revise it to anything you want, right? Let's say you found out through a text message. Well, instead you got a text message where he was totally head over heels in love with you and wants to get married. However, with revision, there's a decent chance that the original experience might pop back into your mind. And when we're revising, we're changing an experience. We're literally changing it. Some people think that revision is just changing what we think happened. Like we're changing our feeling around the experience. No, we're changing the experience. We're leaving that timeline. We're making a change. And it changes for all parties involved. So if you have a belief that revision doesn't do what I just said it does, you're going to have that shit limited experience in your 3D. You're going to get that evidence for yourself. But I'm trying to free your ass. Revision is a real thing. Okay? Just saying. However, with revision, that kind of we got to stop allowing ourselves to sit in the original experience, the memory of it. Because when we allow ourselves to sit in it, we go back to that reality. Do you see what I'm saying? It's just like manifesting, even though, you know, time is an illusion, right? We all look, oh my God, I am tongue-tied. We all think of manifesting, whatever it is, each and every one of us is manifesting. We think of it as manifesting forward, like manifesting in our future, even though time, again, is an illusion. Time is not linear. So that's what we think is happening. And like revision is like going backwards, going in the past. But the truth is, everything is now. Literally. Everything is now. And all we ever have is the now moment. I know, Rhonda, and I thought about grabbing one before I started the live. And I didn't because I was so impatient to get over here and get on the live. And then I didn't even start the fucking live. Anyway. So I'm just saying that as a little tip, Priya, especially if you feel like you've been struggling with the revision. You're identifying as this version of you who never had this experience. That's the point of revision, okay? So whatever you prefer, are you a visualizer? Then you're going to visualize a new memory, a new experience, right? We didn't experience that original moment. We're saying goodbye to that timeline. And by the way, just because the original experience popped up into your mind, that doesn't mean you're marinating. What I mean by choosing it, sitting in it, marinating, is when you allow it to come in and you start thinking back to how you felt in that moment and how things have turned out because of that moment. That's what I mean by marinating. We don't get to do that anymore. We have to stop doing those type of things. So that could be a teensy-weensy part of why you feel like the revision didn't work or why you feel like you're struggling with it. And again, like any other manifestation, when I say decide to be new self, you know, whatever, like the manifesting forward. I should have got that Mountain Dew. Whatever you're currently manifesting, for fuck's sake, that you're identifying as that new self, the self that has whatever it is you're manifesting. It's the same thing with revision. You're identifying as the version of self that's still in the relationship. The relationship never broke up. The next part that people struggle with revision is logical fucking thinking. Logical thinking. For example, I'm going to use Priya again as the example. Okay, I'm manifesting that my SP never cheated on me, so therefore we never broke up. So why are we not together? If I revised it, why are we not back together? We're not back together. So how is it revised? Just like any other manifestation, you got to let the fucking 3D unfold. Yes, you're hopping to a new timeline. You're choosing a new timeline, a timeline where that never happened. So allow it to unfold and connect you to snowball away that old experience. Do you see what I mean? Is that making sense, Priya? I'm hoping. Maybe Priya's not even here anymore. Well, I'm hoping that has been clear. We don't get to marinate in what we're revising when we've made the decision. She is there. Good. Thank you, Kim. Love you. I'm excited to be with my love in the 3D again. Yes. Perfect sense. Oh, good. It'll work, Priya. If you have taken the few tips I have just given you, it'll work. Because revision works. Revision is amazing. I think some people are afraid of revision. I don't know why. It's one of your tools. It's a part of your manifestation toolbox. Revision allows you to not hang around with old shitty fucking memories that don't make you feel good. It allows you to say this to them. Literally. And then it takes care of the snowball these things did. I know that some people think that with revision that, well, let's say whatever snowballed, I like some of the after effects of that snowball. I like who I've become because of that experience. Hi, there are infinite versions. There are infinite realities. You could be any fucking version of yourself you want. There's a combination of you who has all your dreams and desires and still has that sassy attitude that you're afraid you're going to lose if you revise the original experience. No. Every combination of self you can think of exists. See what I'm saying? Well, Poop is happier than a pig in shit right now because she's got her friggin' treats. My SP showed up with treats for Poop. He just got home from work. Hi.
Hi.
Want to say hi louder to them?
Hi.
There. He says hi. How are you?
Good.
How many friggin' treats are you giving her?
Well, she's gone 2 days without him.
He spoils her.
She knows who loves her.
I love her.
He let her run out of treats.
Did you hear that? I let her run out of treats. Like I did it on purpose.
She manifested treats, and I got them.
Poop manifested treats. Oh my God. I picked up all the obnoxious piles of shite out on that grass. I see you left that magic load for me.
Oh, there.
Yeah. Where? Out here, right? No? Oh, Lord. Let's see. Salty. Thank you very much. Kim. Thank you, Catherine. You and your SP look so good together.
They can't see me.
The day you showed up over here and you got on camera.
I got a face for radio.
Don't talk like that about yourself. He says he's got a face for radio. He shouldn't talk like that, should he? All right, Salty, thank you very much. Kim, advice. Sometimes I care about my manifestations and times I don't care. Trying to persist and affirm. I'm changing, so is SP, but a little disappointed by 3D today. Could you hype me up? Also, when can we talk? We can talk probably in like, I know this is going to sound terrible, but a little over 3 weeks. I am very booked. I'm trying to add time frames in because of my bookedness. So I'm trying to, I'm booked. I'm so grateful for the bookedness, but I'm trying to move some things around to see if I have some spots open, especially for packages and stuff like that. So definitely a few weeks. And as far as hyping you up, yes. Listen, as far as whatever happened in the 3D today, if it's, that's right, Renee. He's got a face for Kim. Did you hear that? That was a compliment.
I didn't hear it.
He heard it. He's literally like 3 feet away from me.
Her say it.
Well, because you can't hear her talk. All right. Salty, if something happened today that bummed you out with SP, listen. This is actually for anybody manifesting a specific person that you've got to interact with your person, like I got to interact with mine. When they're not showing up the way you're hoping they would, if they're not being super loving and affectionate.
Why are you looking at me?
If they're not being the way you would prefer and you're reacting and responding to it, it's not the reacting and responding that is necessarily an issue, meaning you're not going to ruin your manifestation, but it's showing you who you are, right? It's showing you who you're being in that moment. Now, that is not to shame yourself. That's not why I'm saying it. I react. I have my moments of reacting and responding. Of course I do. But it is telling me who I'm being in that moment and what I'm believing. That's the only reason why I'm bringing that up, is you have to ask yourself, who are you being in that moment? So what am I believing about me, my manifestation, what am I believing about SP? Am I still holding on to something? Now, I'm not saying you got to do this every fucking time you react to anything. That's not what I mean. But when you're getting at a place of sometimes I care, sometimes I don't. When you don't care, is it an apathetic I don't care? Or is it I'm not worried about it today? I know everything's going to work out fine. I know I'm watching the unfolding. Because there's different I don't cares. You see what I mean? But sometimes when we're reacting and responding, it's because we're believing something that we should let go of. Like when SP isn't showing up loving and affectionate and like isn't telling me that he loves me and is head over heels in love with me. In those moments, who am I being? I'm being a version of self that probably doesn't feel chosen, which always rolls down to not good enough. And that's clearly a belief that I no longer wish to have. So who am I being if I'm letting, him playing on his phone and not singing to the rooftops that he's in love with me?
I don't want to interrupt you.
But who am I being? Right? Other than a smartass. Sometimes we're telling ourselves that we are new self, but if we haven't, authentically owned up to what beliefs we're holding on to, you can keep telling yourself new self, that you are new self, but if you're still identifying truthfully as the version of self who doesn't feel good enough, we need to consciously choose that. So is everybody aware of that? Just so you can see that happening. JT, oh my God, I knew he'll plop on that couch next to you. You manifested it. Damn, I should have drank that Mountain Dew before I did this live stream. Yeah, look at those cameos. But do you all know what I mean when I say that? When I'm telling you that I start my day deciding to be self, the self I want to be, version. Now she just helped herself to a treat. She just jumped up to the stove and knocked over her treat bag so one of the treats would fall on the floor so she could get the treat. Two.
She's wasting away.
She's almost 100 pounds. She is not wasting away, just so you know. When I'm making that decision to be new self, not only do I have a new self list of who I want to be versus all the categories that I'm manifesting in, who I want to be, how I want to feel, what I want my life to look like. But if you are, telling yourself that you're new self, let's say anybody manifested a specific person. If you're telling yourself, I am the version of self that's in the most loving, fulfilling, committed relationship with my SP, but at the same time, you're still walking around all day identifying as the version of self who doesn't feel good enough and doesn't think SP will ever change. That's not new self. That's still identifying as old self. We want to make sure we're walking around and at minimum, we're returning to our decision to be new self. If we fall out, if we catch ourselves having inner dialogue that is not serving us, like inner dialogue being frustrated with SP, or inner dialogue, calling ourselves crazy because we believe in manifestation and we're afraid it's never going to work. The idea is to be observers of where our mind goes, not to overwhelm yourself and not like a part-time job, but when we want what we want and we want it quick, we're going to be diligent in choosing the new self, and by choosing, continuously identifying as new self. Does that make sense? So, Salty, I know you can do this. I know you can. Choose new self and stand in her with brazen impudence. And you got to let me know what you mean by sometimes I care, sometimes I don't care. What's the I don't care? Because if it's apathy, fuck it, I don't care if I don't care. I don't care if it comes. Well, we don't want that, do we? There's, I don't care. I don't care if it comes. I know I'm going to get it. That's why I don't care if it comes. I got nothing to worry about. Life is amazing. Life is unfolding. I can see it. I can see that I'm going to get whatever I want. I can see that I am new self. That's a different kind of I don't care. Do you see what I mean? And is Salty actually even here? Or is Salty at work on the toilet like she was the other day? Let's see. Amy, thank you very much. She had to leave. Oh, thank you for telling me. She'll watch the replay. I do love you, Salty. I am doing what I can to move around shit on my schedule. Because I haven't forgotten. Because you asked me a few weeks ago, and I remember. I'm trying. But I am grateful to all of you who have come to me for coaching. This is not a complaint. I like being busy. Okay. Amy, thank you very much. SP said he'd rather be single than back with me and to move on. My smart ass wants to say North Carolina for 4 months. If you've been a long time live streamer, you know what that means. No contact for 4 months. And seeing no visible movement, persisting but need a little boost. Okay. First of all, listen. SP said to you that he'd rather be single than back with you and move on. Okay, in that moment, your SP was being a twat. He was being an asshole. Okay? That was a shit thing to say. You didn't have to be so shit how he said it to you, Amy. Okay? However, what do we know about our specific persons? They are always ever reflecting what we believe about ourselves. So when they're showing up saying they don't want the relationship, they'd rather be single than come back with you, in that moment, how did that make you feel? Did it make you feel not chosen? Not a priority, not good enough? Is there a belief that, relationships are just never going to work out? I'm never going to get what I want. You're going to be alone your whole life. Where's the belief? The way he was talking, snarky bastard that he is, sounds like the belief might be not good enough. Obviously, I would need to talk to you a little bit more to make sure. But it sounds like not good enough. And if that's the case, then you're going to start identifying as the version of yourself that knows she's damn well more than enough. And that you're worthy and deserving of love. And that, you have no limited beliefs or stories regarding your specific person. Meaning, if we expect our specific person to show up like a turd all the time, well, then... I don't have the belief, so you don't do that. He said, that's me. It's not. Wait, what? Everything distills down to not good enough, right? Yep. What was that? That sounded like, did you get your prescriptions? It fell. Maybe on the counter. We're going to make sure, I forgot what I was saying. I ain't going to lie to you. I got distracted. We got to make sure that whatever we believe about SP also changes. So if we expect him to show up like a turd, then he's going to keep showing up like a turd, right? Because they're always reflecting your own beliefs right back at you. But don't be discouraged because he said what he said to you. Okay? That was nothing but the manifestation of an old version of yourself. Or like Neville says, that is a manifestation of a forgotten state. Meaning we often forget the states we embody until we become conscious manifestors. We often forget. where our minds have been and who we were identifying as. And it's nothing to panic over. He doesn't really mean that. It was a reflection. So choose to be the new version of yourself that's in the most loving, fulfilling, committed relationship where you both mutually are happy and in love. And he'll be back. But make sure it's I am more than enough, not just good enough. I don't like that. That particular wording bugs me. I am good enough. Like you're proving yourself. I'm good enough. I am. No, I'm fucking more than enough. I'm more than enough. I am worthy and deserving of love and good treatment, right? Okay? So change that. Also though, Amy, just before I forget, when you're saying that, you know, no contact for 4 months and seeing no visible movement, I'm glad you specified as visible because there is always movement. Always. Even if you don't see it. There's always something happening. But listen, your SP thinks of you when you think of them. But they think it's their own thoughts. And they think in the context that you're thinking. So if you're constantly replaying the moment he said that douchebag shit to you, if you're constantly reliving that in your mind, or you're fearing that, you know, he could never love you again, or blah, 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 that's the context of what he's thinking about you. You see what I mean? Poop! The refrigerator. Just the refrigerator. Poop! Be a good girl. Come here. Come here. Be a good girl. She's giving me all sorts of side eye. So, remember that. And no more counting down how many months it's been since you've been in no contact. No more of that, right? We don't need to keep track of how long we've been in no contact because time is what? It's an illusion. We are not manifesting by linear time, right? We're not limited by time. Linear, I do this as in like a straight line. Linear time. We go vertical. We go up. That's what Neville said. We go vertical. Our imagination is the connection to, if you believe in God, God. We believe in universe, universe. To the fourth dimension. We don't go in a straight line. We don't want to be bothered with straight lines. So we're not limited. We don't count time. That's a habit of old self. And that's the habit we're breaking away from. We're breaking away from the conditioning of the versions of selves that we have been our whole lives. We're going vertical. Okay? Shay Nicole, thank you very much. At work, just saying hi. Love that you've been going live so much. Give poop and treating you to some Mountain Dews. Thank you so much. Shay Nicole, that was very nice. I hope you're having a fabulous evening at work. I am going to share our little comment exchange today because I love a good laugh. Shay and I were responding to each other in comments today, and Shay told me that on the TikTok live stream that I uploaded to YouTube yesterday, she tried to get inside the chat to interact like we're interacting here in the chat, the live chat. She couldn't find the live chat, and she was trying to chat with us all until she realized this is an upload from TikTok. We weren't live yesterday, but that is hilarious. Oh, and the best part, if you guys have not watched yesterday's video, again, it was an unedited live stream from TikTok from a few weeks ago. I must have recorded, or I must have went live on TikTok. That must have been from a Friday. Look in the comments to how many people were like, Friday? It's not Friday. It's Friday. It's Thursday. You mean Friday? I mean, you mean Thursday. You don't mean Friday. Losing Their mind, I'm exaggerating. They really weren't losing their minds. There was only a few comments, but I laughed at each one of them like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's a re-upload. It's old. It's old. And I didn't say anything, but I did laugh. Friday. It's Thursday, Kim. It's not Friday. Or my favorite one, and this one wasn't snarky. This one seemed sweet. But where are you in the world that it's Friday? And I think they gave their location. It's still Thursday where I am. And I'm like, oh, bless your heart. This is old. This isn't from today. It said TikTok. Okay, hey. Friday. You know I love to do the voices of my comments. And listen, if we've never talked, I've never heard your voice, and you're snarky, you know I do a snarky voice as I'm reading it because I love it. Because it's fun to me. And if I have ever talked to you and I've had the pleasure of hearing your voice, I hear your voice as I'm reading your comment. Just so you know. So Shay, I could hear you telling me that you were trying to get into the live chat. I heard you. Just saying. Anyway, yes, Valley Girl. Yes. Oh, God. Okay. On that note, I'm going to answer D. Monique and Keisha G. Oh, my God. Now, see if I keep going down, I'm like, oh, I love this person. Oh, I love this person. Let me do this. I'll be on here all night. We want to eat dinner. Let me do D. Monique M. Thank you very much. Hi, Kim. Can you speak about the saying, we are not doing this to get something in the 3D? I feel like I am. Am I thinking about this wrong? I ask because I absolutely want to see changes in my 3D. Yes. What does that mean? Well, I can't speak for any other person or any other video who says that. I can't. I could only speak for me. Meaning, this journey is a journey about self and changing self to experience our dreams and desires in the 3D. So I know I have specifically said a comment like that before. Maybe not. I don't know if I said it exactly like that. But when we're manifesting, let's just say like when you're new and you have just found manifestation and you're using it. So this is from what I mean when I say it. That if you're, finding manifestation for the first time and you're like, oh my God, yes. Oh my God, I can manifest love. Okay, I'm going to manifest love. And you start affirming every single day. And let's say it's a better example if you got a specific person. So, oh my God, I can manifest them in my life. I can have my person back. Okay, let me say my affirmations every single day that person loves me. That person's head over heels in love with me. Right, we're all guilty of that. And all that focus goes on changing SP. You're not doing it to get anything out here. Manifestation, the idea of manifestation is to give yourself fulfillment. So, when people come in and only put the focus on that thing, well, then they're not changing self. And they're still putting their fulfillment, their happiness on the 3D desire. Now, not to say, don't get me wrong, I'm not stupid. I manifest because I think that thing's going to make me happy, right? That sounds like a good idea. I want to have that experience. There's nothing wrong with that. But the whole thing behind manifestation is everything you want, you already have. You already have it. Creation's finished. So the key, the trick to manifestation is realizing, give it to yourself in here, and it's going to quickly show up out there. So it's not that you can't want the things you're manifesting. That's not the message. But when you only think that thing in the 3D is the only thing that can make me happy, then you're losing the perspective of what we're doing manifestation-wise. That's what I have meant when I've ever said it, again, I said this to someone in a comment today about a totally different question, but just because someone calls himself a manifestation coach doesn't mean they actually understand what they're teaching. They could be just regurgitating someone else's information. So if you've heard it anywhere else, I don't know where, but that is why normally that phrase gets thrown around. The answers to everything you're manifesting, everything, including that specific person, the answer to it is in you through your imagination, which is your God/universe connection. So you can feel the fulfillment of already having it. Even if for now that fulfillment is just the knowing that creation's finished and that if you keep choosing new self, you'll end up getting your manifestation. Even if that's all you see it as, that's still better than trying to change specific person while never changing self. Do you see what I mean? Does that help? Does that make sense? Because listen, I mean, to think of it literally like, oh my God, I can't want what I want. Well, then why am I going to manifest? Of course you can want what you want. Everyone here is manifesting something to get out there, right? We all are. Every one of us is. But the whole purpose of this is to realize, no. You get to give it to yourself first and here by deciding to be the new self. Then it's like you're guaranteeing you will experience it out there and quickly. That's the whole point. So I hope that made sense. Okay. And quickly, Keisha G. Hey, little sis, wrote my list of who the version of me is. I enjoy robotic affirming, listening over repeating. I remember. Want to keep the good movement going. Boo Thang went out of town last weekend. Monday, upon return, he called me first. Love you. I love you, Keisha G. I am not surprised that you are having success in the wonderful movement. You are choosing new self. I'm very proud of you. I am happy for you. And of course he called you first. Of course he did. You're his damn priority. Good. And as far as anybody else who heard me say the robotic affirming, listening as opposed to, what she said, her words were listening over repeating. Keisha G does her robotic affirming through an app, a recording. So it's playing all the time. You know, like if she's at work, she's got a little earpiece in, but that's still robotic affirming. So just saying. And that's how she does it. And obviously is getting success from it. Burku. That's all I'm going to say, Burku, but you know it. You know it's okay, so I don't butcher your last name. Thank you very much. Kim, I love you. Last night, I saw SP was getting married, and I was saying to myself, no, bitch. Even if you get married, you'll be back, even in my dream. Burku. Now that's an HBIC response. Well done. And you are right? We are not limited by things in that 3D. There is no true obstacle to anything. No true obstacles, right? You start making the decision to be the version of yourself that has whatever the fuck you want. That dismantles or melts away anything in that 3D. So, well done, Burku. That was an HBIC response. I'm proud of you. So, on that note, I'm going to go eat dinner. All right? Well, I have 8 minutes to eat that dinner. I have a coaching call at 5:45. So, on that note, I think I'm going to be eating after that call. Thank you so much for being here with me. If I have a moment of time this weekend, I am hoping to go live again. So, until that moment, the video will be up tomorrow. So, I'm going to leave it with my usual. On that note, I'll see you tomorrow. Until we see each other again, I hope you are all choosing new self. Choosing new self. Always. Okay? Love you all. I'll see you all